One day he was there, and the next day he wasn't. No big goodbye. No dramatic announcement. Just silence. And that silence made fans ask the same question again and again. Why did John Reardon leave Hudson and Rex? Some people said it was a normal career move. Others believed something happened behind the scenes. But now, after all this time, John Reardon has finally opened up, and what he says changes the story completely. John Reardon was never the kind of actor who needed loud attention. He didn't chase drama online. He didn't turn every moment into a headline. He just showed up, did his work, and fans respected him for that. That's why his sudden disappearance from the Hudson and Rex world hit people so hard. Because when someone is calm and steady, and then suddenly gone, it doesn't feel normal. It feels like something important is missing. At first, many fans didn't notice right away. Hudson and Rex is a show with a strong core, especially with Rex himself becoming a symbol of comfort for the audience. But as time passed, people began to feel that something had changed. Some viewers started asking simple questions in comments and fan groups. Where is John Reardon? Did he leave? Is he coming back? The questions were small at first, but soon they became loud. And what made it worse wasn't just that he was missing. It was the fact that nobody was explaining anything. No clear statement. No official reason. No simple update. Just quiet. And in the world of TV, quiet is never truly quiet. Quiet makes people imagine things. Quiet makes rumors grow. Quiet turns a normal change into a mystery. Fans started going back and checking old episodes. They rewatched scenes and looked for clues like detectives. They compared cast photos, interviews, and behind-the-scenes updates. And the more they looked, the more questions they found. Because when people care about a show, they don't just watch it, they build an emotional bond with it. And when someone disappears from that bond, it feels personal. Some fans were sad. Others were angry. A few tried to stay calm and said, maybe he's just busy. But even those fans admitted something felt strange. If it really was simple, why wasn't it said clearly? Why didn't anyone just confirm it? Why did it feel like the whole thing was being avoided? That's when the story began to shift. Because it wasn't just about one actor leaving a role anymore. It became about why he left. And what happened behind the scenes that the public didn't see. And the truth is, when someone doesn't speak, people will speak for them. So the rumors grew. The theories got bigger. And John Reardon's name became part of a question that wouldn't go away. It wasn't just asked once or twice. It was asked for months. Even years. And the longer the silence lasted, the more fans believed there was something deeper going on. But here's the part nobody expected. While the internet was guessing, while fans were fighting in comment sections, while theories spread like wildfire, John Reardon was living his life quietly. And now he's finally breaking that silence. Not with drama, not with anger, but with a truth that feels surprisingly human. And once you hear what he finally says, the mystery starts to look very different. At first, fans tried to stay calm. They told themselves it was nothing. Maybe John Reardon had a small break. Maybe he was filming something else. Maybe it was a normal change that happens in TV shows all the time. But then one episode became two became more, and the gap started to feel too big to ignore. That's when people stopped asking quietly and started asking loudly. The comments under Hudson and Rex posts changed. Instead of talking about the storyline, fans began typing one name again and again, John Reardon. Some people wrote, did he leave? Others said, why isn't he there anymore? A few even begged, please bring him back. It wasn't just curiosity anymore. It was worry. Because fans can sense when something feels different, even when no one says it out loud. And what made it even stranger was the silence from the show itself. No clear message. No short update. Not even a simple line like, he's moved on. It was like everyone was walking around the question, pretending it didn't exist. But you can't hide a missing piece from people who are paying attention. Fans notice everything. They notice who is missing from interviews. They notice who stops appearing in behind-the-scenes photos. They notice small changes that other people would never see. Soon, the internet started doing what it always does. It filled the silence with stories. And once that happens, it becomes hard to stop. People began writing guesses like they were facts. A fan might post, "I heard he didn't get along with the team," and suddenly others repeated it like it was confirmed. Another person might say, "Maybe he was fired," and that one line could spread across the internet like wildfire. It didn't matter if it was true or not. Once the rumor is out there, it becomes a shadow that follows the person. Some theories were small and harmless. Many fans believed he left because he wanted to focus on other roles. That idea sounded reasonable. John Reardon is an actor, and actors often move on when they feel ready for a new chapter. But other theories weren't so simple. People started suggesting problems behind the scenes. Some said there was tension. Others said there was disappointment. Some even believed something serious happened that no one wanted to talk about. And the scary part is, when you don't have the truth, every theory feels possible. Silence makes even a normal decision look suspicious. It turns a simple career move into a mystery story. That's why fans started searching deeper. They checked interviews. They watched old clips again. They looked at who still followed who on social media. They studied every detail like it was a crime case. Then the fan debates started. One side said, "He left because he wanted to." Another side said, "No, something happened." And the more people argued, the bigger the story became. Suddenly, it wasn't just about a character missing. It became a battle of opinions. Some fans even blamed the show. Others blamed the actor. And in the middle of all that noise, John Reardon said nothing. That silence didn't feel like a normal silence. It felt like a locked door. It felt like a secret. And when the internet sees a locked door, it doesn't walk away. It tries harder to open it, but while the rumors kept growing, one detail became impossible to ignore. John Reardon wasn't acting like someone who was angry or bitter. He wasn't posting messages to defend himself. He wasn't attacking anyone. He wasn't trying to win the public over. He stayed calm. And that calmness made some fans pause and think, what if the real reason isn't shocking at all? What if it's something much more personal? Because sometimes the truth is not a scandal. Sometimes it's simply a choice. And soon that choice would finally be explained. The internet doesn't like unfinished stories. If a door closes without an explanation, people don't accept it. They try to break it open. And that's exactly what happened after John Reardon's absence became impossible to ignore. Fans didn't just wonder where he went. They started building full stories in their minds, piece by piece, like they were solving a puzzle. The first big theory was the easiest one to believe. He left for a better job. Many viewers thought John Reardon simply moved on because he wanted bigger roles, more screen time, or a new challenge. That theory made sense. Actors don't stay in one place forever. And when a person has talent, the next step can feel like a natural move. But even though this sounded reasonable, it still didn't explain why the silence around it felt so heavy. If it was just a normal career choice, why didn't anyone say it clearly? Then came the second theory, one that always appears when fans don't get answers, behind-the-scenes tension. Some people believed there were problems on set. Others assumed he had a disagreement with producers. A few even claimed he didn't get along with someone from the cast. And the truth is, viewers love this kind of theory because it has drama. It has conflict. It turns real life into a movie. But it also creates damage. Because once fans start repeating it, it becomes a label attached to someone's name. Even if it has zero proof, the third theory was darker. Some fans worried about health issues or personal struggles. And unlike the other theories, this one came from concern, not gossip. People didn't want to believe he was gone because of conflict. They wanted to believe he was okay. But at the same time, they were scared. The way he disappeared felt too quiet, too sudden. So fans began to wonder if something private had forced him to step away. Then there was a fourth theory that spread fast. He was pushed out. That was the most painful rumor of all because it suggests rejection. It suggests someone didn't want him there. And once people started believing that, the conversation turned bitter. Fans didn't just miss him, they started blaming the show. They questioned the decisions being made. Some even threatened to stop watching. And suddenly, what could have been a calm change became a storm fueled by anger. But here's what most people didn't understand. All those theories had one thing in common. They were built on a simple mistake. They assumed silence means scandal. But silence doesn't always mean something bad happened. Sometimes it means the person doesn't want their private life turned into public entertainment. Sometimes it means they're choosing peace instead of attention. And for John Reardon, that quietness was not weakness. It was his way of refusing to feed the rumor machine. Because, think about it, if he truly left because of a fight, wouldn't we have seen hints? Wouldn't there be angry interviews? Subtle shade online? Something? But there was nothing. No harsh words. No blaming. No public frustration. Instead, he stayed respectful. And that detail alone should have made people stop and rethink everything. That's when some fans started noticing a different pattern. While the show moved forward, John Reardon wasn't disappearing. He was simply moving differently. He wasn't trying to stay in the same world forever. He was choosing projects that fit his life, his pace, his priorities. And this is the part fans often forget. Actors are not characters. They don't live inside the story. They have families, responsibilities, and real-life decisions that don't always match what fans want. And then, after all the guessing, all the debates, and all the loud noise, something finally changed. Because John Reardon didn't stay silent forever, he finally spoke, and when he did, it wasn't explosive. It wasn't messy. It wasn't a tell-all moment. It was calm, honest, and the kind of truth that makes you realize the internet made this story bigger than it ever needed to be, and once you hear what he actually said, you'll understand why he waited so long to say it after months of silence. And years of fans guessing, John Reardon finally said what people had been waiting to hear. And the moment he spoke, something became clear. This was never a scandal story. It was never a messy breakup with the show. It wasn't a secret fight or a dramatic exit. The truth was much simpler. And that's why it hit so hard. When John addressed the question, he didn't come with anger. He didn't attack anyone. He didn't drop shocking accusations. Instead, he spoke like someone who had made a quiet decision and didn't want it turned into noise. His words carried one message: life changes, and sometimes you have to choose what matters most. That's the part people didn't want to accept at first, because it doesn't feel like a big Hollywood reason. It feels human. It feels like something anyone could understand. But that's exactly why it was real. Sometimes leaving isn't about running away from something. Sometimes it's about moving towards something: your family, your health, your peace, or your own future. John didn't try to make himself look like a victim, and he didn't paint the show as the villain. He simply explained that his path was changing. And when you look back at everything, the clues were there. His silence wasn't because he was hiding the truth. His silence was because he didn't want the truth to become gossip. And that changes the entire story, because it means the rumors were never the real issue. The real issue was that fans didn't want to let go without a goodbye. Hudson Rex is not just a show people watch, it's a comfort show. It's familiar, safe, and when a familiar face disappears, it can feel like someone took a piece of that comfort away. That's why the question never went away. People weren't just curious, they were emotionally attached. But here's what makes this even more interesting. While fans were still asking where he went, John Reardon was already building his next chapter, quietly, carefully, without needing attention, and that's where the new movie Autumn comes in. This is not just another project. It feels like a message. It feels like proof that he didn't disappear, he simply shifted his focus. Autumn isn't about loud action or fast thrills. It carries the kind of tone that fits John Reardon perfectly: personal, emotional, and grounded. The kind of story that feels calm on the outside, but deep on the inside, and that is what makes his move so powerful. Because it shows he wasn't chasing fame, he was chasing meaning. In many ways, Autumn feels like the answer Hudson and Rex fans didn't know they needed. It's like John is saying, I'm still here. I'm still acting. I'm just choosing stories that fit who I am now. And once you understand that, his decision doesn't feel like abandonment. It feels like growth. So why did John Reardon leave Hudson and Rex? Not because of drama. Not because of scandal. Not because of hate. He left because life demanded a different direction and he chose it with quiet strength. And the craziest part is this. Once fans finally heard the truth, many of them didn't get angry. They didn't feel betrayed. They felt something else. Relief. Because sometimes closure isn't a huge explanation. Sometimes closure is simply knowing the person you admired didn't fall apart. He just moved forward. And now the only real question left is this. Is this the end of his connection to Hudson and Rex forever? Or is it just a pause?